Live
right
again.
back.
Chad, I'm sorry for what happened. My fucking USB port may have decided to die. I don't know. But it also doesn't fucking explain why I couldn't get my fucking earbuds to connect. Oh.
Probably because your other headphones were connected.
No, this is a separate 2.4 gig signal. This isn't my earbuds are Bluetooth.
Maybe you needed to put your Bluetooth earbuds into pairing mode.
I synced it multiple times. It said it connected, and every time I put them in my ears, like nothing would happen, and then it would eventually disconnect. Ah, what a fucking day!
Have you had a day? I feel like
Yeah.
you were talking about a nap or something earlier.
Yeah, because my allergies were fucking kicking my ass. I had to take a nap.
Because what?
My allergies were kicking my ass.
You took a nice long nap because of you had the sniffles. It
Dude,
doesn't sound like a day. It doesn't sound like a day.
I don't get sick. I know that sounds weird, but literally, I don't ever get sick. So when I get sick, it fucking kicks my ass. And today was one of those days.
Did you work today?
Yeah. I left work early so I could go home and take a nap.
Millennials, am I right, y'all?
Whatever fucking Gen X or boomer shit.
Sad
Wait,
to say
you-
I'm a fellow millennial.
Yeah, you are. Although technically I think you're an early millennial.
Yeah, I'm a very early millennial.
Good chat
Yeah,
again.
get some strong allergy meds, dog. Change your air filter.
Oh, I've been taking Zyrtec, but I just don't think that works for me anymore, so I got a different one on the way home.
Got some Flonase or
Cetrazine maleate, something like that.
It's fuck.
It's a very common generic pill that only works for 4 hours, but it worked for me a long time ago, and it's working again.
What is the name brand on that one?
I'll go grab it.
No, don't.
It's like Cetrazine maleate, something like that.
I don't know. I want to know what the name brand. Whatever. Where did these people go? I hate when everything's working and now they're like, now I'll take my break. It's like,
the name brand is HEB Allergy Relief,
and that's not the name brand.
Well, I don't know what the name brand is.
Wait, hold it up. If it's Zyrtec, I'm gonna laugh.
No, it's chloroferrin and maleate.
That sounds like something that would give you diarrhea.
Is that Zyrtec?
I had to go.
No, it's not.
Explain to my wife the conversation we were just.
Oh yeah, about stinky butts.
I said stinky feet.
Did I miss a good conversation?
Oh, dude, you missed one of the best conversations.
Fucking damn it, Janet.
Robin's gonna try something new. I hear.
Oh, there you go.
I had to end. She looked very. I was explaining the dynamics of the conversation for a second, and then I was like, "You look like you're officially ready for me to disconnect and not be part of this conversation anymore." And she's like, "Yeah, kind of." And I was like, "Okay, fine." I was like, "Just to be clear, before I leave, I am not into feet or dirty, stinky feet, for that matter." And she was like, "I know." And I was like, "Cool."
I'm glad we got a clean recording of that. I'm certain no one will edit it and take it out of context.
I do whatever you want. That ship sailed long ago. Are we ready?
Winged says you're missing out, but we have no idea. Is he a feet man or a stinky feet man or like a dirty foot? A muddy foot? I don't think anyone's into like muddy feet.
That's probably a safe
stinky.
assumption.
He likes them stinky, like a good cheese.
It's probably just like a few steps away from him being like a cake foot person.
Oh man, I told my wife what I said earlier to you. I can't remember if we were live when I said it, but I was like, if somebody told me, very just in a moment of like, we're opening up to each other and we're talking about the things that we're into. If somebody told me that they were into dirty, stinky feet and they said it just like that, it would be just as off-putting to me as if someone was like, I really like severed feet.
That's crazy.
Okay, that's very different.
That's very different. Maybe more relatable to you.
Yeah, fucking Dexter bullshit.
King Carey says, "Let me see them stinky piggies." This little dirty piggy went to the market.
King Carey, patreon.com/4player.
I have no problem with clean feet or people who are into clean feet.
Like
who hasn't fucked
I'm gonna start my recording. I'm recording. But like, how much are like the toes part of the interest in the foot?
You know,
are they just like, are they just along for the ride, or
no,
they,
dude? I think that's a big part of it.
The toes.
Ring it says at least 50.
I'm recording.
50%.
The word I see a
Wait.
lot are soles. Soles, like the bottom of the feet.
So you would say you're a Souls-like?
I mean, you were close on that joke.
That almost landed. That almost.
I don't know. I think that was a solid 4 out of 10 joke.
I feel like you're close to humor there. You just didn't quite get there.
You almost flew close enough to the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The souls.
Again, all right, I'm recording.
Okay, I'm recording.
Let's knock this puppy out. This is probably going to be a very fast and loose episode. But are you recording, Chris Davis?
Oh, I am recording.
All right, roll call starts now. Brad.
Blobbly, you doing all right? You doing all right? I feel like after that JRPG marathon, you know, like an old retired cop who doesn't know what to do with his life anymore. You know, worry about you a little bit.
Chris Davis.
I don't worry about Blobbly. Blobbly will figure out what they want to do next.
He's got another list. What's your other list, Blobbly? What are you working on next? What's your next endeavor? I must know, because like honestly, you started with a list that I personally feel is like would have been impossible for any normal person to get through. Start like saying you're
harsh ratings on a lot of beloved games.
Saying you're going to play every JRPG ever made, or was that the consensus, or was it just a carefully curated list?
I think it was a number. It was like every major JRPG or something from a certain era.
There was an asterisk in there somewhere. I don't know what it was, but
hundreds of JRPGs.
Hundreds of JRPGs for what seems like many years. And then you finished it. You got to the end of your list. And that's super impressive. Also, hey guys, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is officially the show. 834 is the episode number. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Hello. I was gonna say that, you know, he played like 300, and Chris Davis has played 1.85 JRPGs, having played Lost Odyssey and played about 85% of Clair Obscur.
1.85. That's fucking hilarious. Chris Davis, hello. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I've played more than that, significantly more. Just the majority of those happen to be Final Fantasy titles.
He's played Sea of Stars, this man.
That's true.
Yeah. I played Chrono Trigger. I played a lot.
Did y'all see that IGN did their top 100 JRPGs?
No. How do you feel about the list?
A new updated list. Pretty like a little Atlas heavy. I don't know. You know, I'm kind of anti Atlas RPGs. Like there was
a lot of high-ranking
2
personas.
Atlas games in the top 5.
Were they personas or were they like Nocturne?
There was one persona and one metaphor, which let me tell you, I feel like is a little, I don't know, maybe.
Hey, Metaphor broke their top 10.
Metaphor was number 4, I believe. Of
what?
All time.
That is
like
crazy.
The number 1 is everyone's number 1. It's very predictable. But notably they were doing like one game per franchise, so they could only do like one Final Fantasy.
Oh,
and they
really?
went with 10. There was on this top 25 list. There was one Final Fantasy game, and they went with 10.
You know, I will say 10 is an inspired choice. If you're only going to pick one Final Fantasy, I do have an intense love for Final Fantasy 10, and I don't feel like enough people are like given that criteria. Like if you're gonna make a top list of RPGs and you can only pick one Final Fantasy, I feel like not many people would pick 10, but I respect them for doing it.
Of all the games on the list, the one that was the most like everyone was like, "What? Why did you put this on there?" They put on Bravely Default 2. Which was a crazy pick, and everyone's like, "Why? Why would you do that?" And I think it's because they wanted some job class. I think they wanted some job. It's low, but
like in the 90s.
No, it was top. It was top 25 JRPGs of all time.
I thought it was top 100. Oh,
yes,
shit.
One per series, top 25.
Oh, okay.
Even then, it's crazy that it's on a list of 25 best JRPGs.
I feel like I heard you say top 100.
I think they wanted a job class system representation, but they couldn't use like Final Fantasy V or Tactics because they were only doing like one per series. So I think they wanted to try to find one that represented like the job class system, and that's maybe why they landed on Bravely Default 2. But like that is not even like the favorite game in that series, so it's such a crazy thing to put on there.
That is an unusual choice, and honestly, like I put Metaphor in my top 10 last year. I think it's a great game, but I also do think it's kind of strange to see that break into the top 5, much less top 5
and
RPGs
then they
of all
have Persona 5 at like number 3. It was I don't know, over representation for Atlas for sure.
Damn. Okay.
And number 1 was of course Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Okay, Lost Odyssey's on the list. I'm happy. Okay.
He's like, let's check this list immediately.
It's very coded. Like you could tell it's about people who like dabbled in like 90s JRPGs, but mostly just sort of played like JRPGs in like the past 15 years. I don't know. I think the list is a little whack. Like it's very obvious stuff, and then the occasional like head scratcher. Like you really have not played that many if you're putting Bravely Default 2 on this list. But whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Hey, before
what is this podcast, Nick?
Look, this podcast, I'll tell you right now. This podcast is going to be fast and loose. We're just hanging out. Collectively speaking, I would say we don't have a ton of new games to talk about that we haven't like delved into. We'll talk about some of the stuff that we're playing tonight for sure. And I know we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in the games media. There's been some positive developments, I suppose. Which is unexpected and exciting, shocking, if you will. But yeah, we're just gonna hang out. We're just gonna hang out, talk about this. Might end up being a 1-segment show. I don't know, but we're just
OTL on YouTube just confirmed. You said originally top 100 JRPGs.
He did misspeak.
Who gives a shit?
Well, it's still honestly
you got me.
The Bravely Default thing would have probably been just as shocking if it was a top 100 list.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Unless it was like number 100, I feel like it would have been kind of shocking. And also, I'm saying that people didn't like. That's not super fair as someone who has never touched Bravely Default 2, but I don't know. I feel like I know enough about it.
That game's a 76 on Metacritic. That's the weird part. Bravely Default 2 is an 85. Like,
I do understand.
Even within that series, it's a weird choice.
I do understand when you're making a list, we do it all the time. I understand the desire to like introduce some curveballs. You know what I mean?
That's a bad curveball. Vagrant Story is not on this list. There is like big, good
that's
JRPGs.
The curve.
I don't know. It definitely is like we don't play a lot of JRPGs, but we think this is good content because everybody's playing Expedition 33, and that pays a lot of homage to JRPGs.
100%.
It was weird.
Also, is it IGN's top 25 or is it like one person's top 25? Because if it's one person's, like that's a different story.
I don't think it necessarily says who the author is.
Like I got to be honest with you, and maybe this is a little rude, but like if like
here it comes.
It's giving like Muppet Babies, like like is it IGN Babies? Like this ain't the Muppets. These are like the children of the Muppets making this list because babies had to make this list. That's like these are people who were in diapers when Persona 4 came out. Probably it doesn't. It seems off. It just seems off. Sorry.
Oh no worries. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, so, what's been going on, everybody? Video games. You know what? I went and saw a movie based on a video game this past week.
Wants to hear about that. I knew you were gonna see that shit though.
Wait,
My
what
wife
is
and
it?
I went and saw Until Dawn in the theater.
Okay.
Uh,
I thought you
my
weren't going to
wife's
go see it.
my wife's a big Until Dawn fan, so she really wanted to
She
see it. And
is?
I like Until Dawn myself as well, but we're also living in a like The Last of Us world. So like my bar has been raised when it comes to like video game adaptations.
Whoa. Oh, I see what you're saying.
It was painful to go on a Sunday and watch Until Dawn and then come home and watch The Last of Us and be like, this is like night and fucking day. Because Until Dawn felt a little like homework to. I felt like I was watching an adaptation of a game where like you can definitely tell when you're watching that movie that the person who made this film, whoever I'm talking about, I don't know if I'm talking about the director or whatever, but like they probably don't give two shits about like Until Dawn. You know what I mean? Like it just felt uninspired, and they took cues from like the wrong things. I don't know. It was a weird thing. But so not a great movie. Not a great.
You know what is great? The rehearsal. Y'all got to catch up on the rehearsal.
You say
Chris
catch
Davis.
up like I actually started watching the rehearsal.
Yeah, I know you're not going to watch it. Chris Davis, can I
can't
pick
do
your
it.
brain? What the fuck do you watch? What do you watch, Chris Davis?
I honestly don't watch a whole lot.
When you're chilling in the evening, what are you watching? What's on your screen? You got a screen probably. What are you watching, man?
I'm probably either playing a video game or I don't know. I literally don't watch a whole lot of television.
What do you watch? Do you watch YouTube? What are you watching? You watch Twitch streamers?
I catch
you
up
watch
on television though. What do you watch?
When I watch television, I've got a backlog of movies I've been slowly working through, a bunch of different Blu-rays over the years.
That's not an answer.
So what is it? What's the last backlog movie you watched?
I got Sneakers in 4K on Blu-ray the other day.
No, don't talk about a purchase. I want to know what you've been watching.
That is hilarious. He immediately went to something he purchased and
That's
not
what I'm
actually
saying.
watched.
It's strange.
Well, that was the most exciting thing to me.
Do you have a television? How many televisions do you have? How many screens do you have in your home?
He has to think about it and count.
2, 3. I've got 3 TVs.
Do you ever just have it on with something playing in the background? What's on your television?
No, I'm usually just hanging out my computer. Honestly,
why do you have 3 TVs then?
Yeah, what do you?
My living room TV where I play most of my games on.
Or...
I've got my guest room TV, and then I've got my TV for my office, which I haven't set up yet.
Whoa! One of the 3 televisions in your house went in your guest room?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't know, man.
I don't think you see.
Do you have a guest room?
I have a guest room, but I did not put a TV in it.
I think most guest rooms don't have TVs. Whatever. This besides the point.
What?
So what? Like when you're like cooking or something. Like when you're lounging, what is on TV?
We will get an answer we will get an answer to this question. God damn it!
Stop evading. You're bullshitting.
Right now, I have I'll have Dropout going. I'll be listening to Game Changer or something like that.
Okay.
I've got
YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly streaming YouTube stuff. The Noah Caldwell Gervais documentaries and stuff like that, essays. I listen to Critical Role a lot lately. Things like that.
Okay.
I've got
there are answers.
You're watching. You're watching that stuff. You're not just listening. You're watching, right?
I mean, it depends on what it is. Like literally, Critical Role to me is a podcast, so I'm listening while I'm cooking or doing whatever.
You're like a Zoomer. You're a YouTube head. That's fine. I mean, a lot of us are, right?
Well, my problem is that I buy a lot of when I buy stuff, it's typically like a series, and I also have this thing in my head like, okay, this is going to be like 12 hours long. I'm going to commit to this. I will eventually get to it when I have time to commit to it. And,
like
it
me.
just goes on a shelf.
Order SVU.
Yeah,
no,
see, that's a fucking have on in the background
No.
show.
I am on season 19.
Bro,
no, don't
Stop.
know him. That's the kind of normal ass television you just have on your TV when you're just like.
It's also to be fair, I'm only making significant progress in that because oftentimes it's like I have it on in the background while I'm working.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that's in the background. You're not actually sitting down and just focusing on it the entire time.
When I say in the background, it is in front of me on my phone, propped up underneath my computer screen, so like I can see it. Like,
Wait, you're watching SVU at work? Dude,
when
that show is
I'm
about
doing
sexual assault.
When I'm doing, it is, but when I'm doing like busy work, like lots of copying and pasting and shit.
Yeah, sure.
You know, mindless shit.
Yeah.
Of which I do a lot.
I get it. I just listen to podcasts like a normal person, but
I can't listen to podcasts. I don't know what it is. I can't listen to podcasts or audiobooks while I'm trying to work. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's bizarre. Hey, this is weird. I don't even know. What is this podcast? What are we doing?
We're just hanging out, man.
Just
I
shooting the
watched
shit.
Nora. Did I mention that last week? That I had.
No, I watched that too. It's pretty good.
I watched it recently. It's pretty good. That's a good fucking movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Great movie.
I agree. And there was a good pun that I heard. I just can't remember it. It was like a play on Uncut Gems or something, but like
I still haven't watched that.
Well, that's a good one too, but whatever.
I know it's like I want to watch the movie, but everybody makes me terrified of watching it.
Well, I mean, you know, it's
like one of the hardest, most uncomfortable movies to watch.
Nora can certainly be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it was at times.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. Everybody says Uncut Gems is like you have to be like really adept at like watching cringe to like get through Uncut Gems.
No, it's not cringe.
And I am not adept. Anyways.
And yet you lived with Nolan for like 5 years.
I did, and every time that fool would be like watching.
There's no way that was 5 years. Y'all didn't live together for 5 years.
No. I think we lived together for 2 years.
Yeah, y'all would have killed each other after.
Maybe 3. I can't. Nolan probably knows off the top of his head how long we lived together. I'd be like 2 years, and he'd probably be like, "Bitch, that was 6 months."
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What's
video
up,
games?
Guys? Video games. That is what we're
talking about.
We're talking
about. I've been fucking working. I listen to a lot less podcasts these days, and I get a little sad because I used to listen to podcasts a lot at work, but I get too bit. People are bugging me all day long. That's what it is. Or I'm in meetings and stuff. So like I'm always behind. That's how I stayed like ahead of the video game world or whatever. So now I never know what's going on.
I've really gone down a audiobook rabbit hole lately. Like I haven't been watching or listening to a ton of podcasts. But that's how I managed to finish book 3 of Game of Thrones. And I
took you longer to listen to an audiobook than it does for him to write one of those books.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I did start listening to Pet Sematary, the audiobook for Pet Sematary, because it's narrated by Michael C. Hall, and it's excellent. It's also really fucked up, which obviously. But yeah,
interesting. I can't do audiobooks.
Wait,
you can't do audiobooks, huh? Pet Sematary?
Not like at work or anything.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You do know what Pet Sematary is, right?
He's about to say some crazy shit.
No, I just the way you phrased what you said, Nick. Okay, are you listening to an audio book version of the Stephen King novel?
Yes. What did I say?
Okay, I could have sworn maybe something short circuited in my head. I must have heard you say that I've been listening to a audiobook version based on the movie Pet Sematary.
What? No. Oh, you're implying that I thought Pet Sematary was a movie first?
Yes.
Because that's definitely not the case.
Okay.
I'm not an idiot, Chris Davis.
I wasn't calling you one. Just
you're trying to catch me in it.
Brain hurt ouch much today.
No, definitely listening. I've never read the novel though, so this is my first time reading the novel, but I'm listening to it. Yeah. Anyways, what's been up, guys? This is riveting stuff. Video games.
Man.
This has been a crazy month.
Last of Us Season 2.
Last of Us Season 2 continues to be pretty good.
Haven't watched it yet. Gonna wait until the full thing's out.
Because you're crazy.
Season 1 more so far.
I'm not crazy.
It has nothing to do with my feeling on those games. It's just
Uh,
I don't know.
I think
Is this really only 7 episodes this season?
yes. There's only 2 episodes
That's
left this
not
season.
enough. That's like kind of whack.
Or
I don't
aren't
know.
they
I mean,
filming
it
like
makes
season
sense
3
to
back
me.
to back?
No. Season 3 starts next year, or filming starts next year. Apparently, season 3 is debuting in May of 2027. That's what they're saying right now.
So far away because it's not even a
That
full
is
season.
absurd.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it is crazy. It is crazy. I'm not super thrilled about the production schedule for the show.
Fuck that, dude.
I especially thought it was going to be a lot shorter gap because the gap between the first and second season predominantly was so long because of the writer's strike. But now we don't have the writer's strike, and it's still going to be like a fucking huge wait.
Are they saying this is a 4-season show? Have they made the determination yet?
They are, as of right now, they have only said they are definitively only going to adapt what is in the game. They have not said whether they're going to do 3 or 4. They've renewed it for 3, but we don't know. I don't even know what they would do unless they like somehow stretch like the Santa
What
Barbara
the
shit
fuck?
into a 4th season.
They
Guys,
could.
Whoa.
Final Destination Bloodlines is at
getting good reviews.
92%. It's
Bullshit.
at 92%.
That sounds
Tony
like
Todd's in it? This is last
yeah, it's one-
movie?
Yeah,
I think that
it's
was his
one of his last
role.
movies. Yeah.
Why is it at 92%? I mean, it has 53 reviews too.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Dude.
have people just been that desperate for new Final Destination? I fell off that series so long ago. I don't know what the
lore?
Final Destination
Dude,
zeitgeist
I don't
is.
know if it was like Final Destination 5 or whatever, but one of them, spoilers, is a secret prequel that you don't know takes place before the first movie until the last
Oh yeah,
scene.
that's the third movie is like secretly
is
a
that
prequel.
the third movie?
I think it's the third one. No, maybe it's the fourth. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. They pulled that was a really good twist.
Good twist for
That-
like a pretty middling series.
That twist is often listed on like when they talk about like best twists in film history. Like you look at lists,
Pretty
like
good.
that shows up a lot.
Pretty good.
But yeah, I definitely did not see. Also, because like this Final Destination Bloodlines looks like it kind of has the like the vibes that I get from like Piranha 3D. Like you know what I mean? Like it's
like too intense, like too self-aware.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe what I'm saying. Like it's also too produced,
Sharknado
like,
kind of vibe.
It almost feels like it's just too clean, too produced, too like I don't know. But hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's getting really good reviews.
Everybody watch The Rehearsal. I'll just say it again. Episode 3 was like the best episode of television I've seen in a very long time. The Sully episode.
Oh, here's the thing. Like, whenever I see clips from that show like pop up on like my feed or something, and I see it, I'm like, I can't even bring myself to click on it because I'm just like, I can just tell from like the screenshot, it's gonna make me uncomfortable.
He should be in jail though. Like I am sure after watching episode 4 that like this man should be in jail. Like he is evil. He's an evil man, and we should not trust him. He's in jail. When he brought in the significant others of the actors that he was having like make out with each other, and then he brought in their significant others to watch them on camera. He is evil. He's being sued. Yeah, I'm sure he's being sued. Oh my god.
That you just saying that out loud makes me like super uncomfortable.
Oh man. I mean, he's a
Oh
genius.
my god.
He's a
It
genius.
sounds brilliant.
Einstein gets me wet. Oh my god. It was so like it was so unplanned, but he's like, can you elaborate on that one a little more? Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, this lady was talking about how she finds Einstein sexy, and he was like pressing her on that, and until like, and this is like a, I don't know, 60-something-year-old woman talking about how she finds Einstein sexy, and he kept kind of pressing her about it, and she eventually admitted that she had a wet dream about Einstein once, and he was like, "What do you mean a wet dream? How does that work? Can women have a wet dream?" And she was like, "I was wet down there." Oh my god, the Evanescence stuff. You have to watch it. You have to watch it, dude. He came to the
God.
conclusion that the 23 seconds. Are you all familiar with the Tom Hanks movie Sully, where
Yes.
the plane hits the birds and then he lands in the Hudson?
Yeah,
Based on the true story, yes.
And
the actual thing that
true
happened,
story,
yes.
of course. Yeah, I mean they've
Why don't
reenacted.
you just turn that around and make it seem like I don't believe that's a true story? That's what I was just pointing out, that it's based on a true story.
Of course, it's a true story. Of course, it's a true story. Well, he did. Nathan Fielder determined that he came to the conclusion that the reason there was 23 seconds of silence in the cockpit, like the black box audio, was that Sully was listening to the chorus of Evanescence's "Bring Me to Life" to get hyped about. Because he read his biography, and weirdly he said that this person, Sully, the real person who wrote an autobiography, like brought up like Evanescence multiple times. So he came to. You have to watch The Rehearsal. It's so good. It's so good.
It was an autobiography.
Yeah, he wrote his own. He
He
wrote his
didn't
own
like die
biography.
in the plane crash. This is a living man.
No, I thought like somebody did a biography on him and brought up Evanescence multiple times.
No,
like it's like a memoir or something.
Which is what gives it more plausibility. The fact that he brought it up multiple times.
Okay, all right.
It's the most insane. It's a must watch. Everyone should watch The Rehearsal.
And we're sure this wasn't like a ghostwriter, right?
Well, trust me, Nathan Fielder does his research.
Okay, that's
all right. Let's get back to it, guys. We're here to talk about video games. What have y'all been playing? Like I said, we're doing a little casual this week. So we've all been kind of playing stuff we've already talked about in weeks past. But I suppose it's worth another discussion to talk about how we're feeling about Claire Obscure Expedition 33, right? Now that I think all of us are significantly further.
Changed, but
no, that's why I'm not devoting a bunch of time to it or putting up footage or anything necessarily, but like, we've made significant progress. We've talked about our feelings about it in the past, and it's obviously one of the most well-reviewed games of the year. It's definitely a huge surprise.
Can I ask you something, Nick? As someone who's in Act 2, without getting into spoilers, what I was saying last podcast is that like it does get a little anime with the story. And what I was referring to is like the end of Act 1, right? Which I mean, I don't know where it goes from here, but like it's becoming a little less restrained. It's getting pretty out there.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely and I wasn't really expecting it not to go into, weird anime territory with the story necessarily, but like the characters are all really good, and the kind of the intrigue, the mystery of what's really happening here is pretty consistently engaging. And the combat is certainly super fucking fun and addicting, and they keep adding layers upon layers to it. It's almost overwhelming. Like,
who's your
go-to
combatants? I mean, I'm rolling with ladies only, of course. So my theory.
Well, I'm rolling. I'm trying to I got to be kind of.
Yeah, you know what? Let's
here.
just.
I would say Lune, because she's like my healer and she has the revive spell.
It's
so
the feet.
It's
you don't
also
use that
the feet.
Revive spell. I feel like
all the time.
But I don't understand what weapon are you using on her? Are you using the one that generates stains?
Yeah, don't they all generate? That's her.
No, I mean,
everyone has their own.
The one, the one that generates stains from free aim shots.
Oh, God. See, here's the thing. You, Brad, and you probably have
you're not a menu guy.
There's like 20 different weapons per character.
It would probably infuriate you.
But there's one specifically for Lune that is like very like, this changes up the way you play her in like a pretty significant way.
My approach would probably infuriate you, Brad, because like I literally go in there and I make decisions in the menu without like much actual thought. I don't even
want to look at your pictos. I'd probably
no.
throw up in my mouth a little bit if I saw your picto setup.
I just can't stand spending too much time in menus. So like I try to make smart decisions, but I try to make them very quick, and then I just
Can I say one thing that rubs me wrong a little bit about this game is that you're leveling up constantly, right? So you're always like bumping up your stats by 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. It's like constant. But the further you get in the game, the more you realize like it's crazy how often you're in there doing that when it matters so little. Because after a certain point in the game, the stats that you get from your pictos are so significantly higher than
Yes.
any of like the stats you increase on your own. It almost makes those decisions seem silly, or like the time you spent in that screen, like upgrading certain, because early on in the game, I'm like hemming and hawing going, should I do agility or how should I break this down? And then you get where I'm at in the game, you're getting pictos that are like 100 times more of that stat than leveling up.
Oh yeah.
For that whole game, and I'm like that. It's weird that they do it that way. I got to be honest with you. I wish there was a little more like build, like almost all of your build comes from the weapon you equip, and then like the pictos that you equip as far as like stats, right? And then you get so many points to equip the different lumine, the passive pictos, right? What are they called? Luminas, right?
Lumina.
Like you get so many points. It's like I'm picking like 20 things now, and I'm like, I feel like they should have dialed it back a little bit. So I felt like my build was a little more like, oh, this was the character who was good at this certain thing, and not like all of them are doing so much stuff. Like you feel really
passive abilities are like stupid helpful.
It's so crazy, right? It's so crazy that like you have like on paper you're so powerful because of all these effects, passive effects that you've equipped on your character, and you feel that for sure, and you can do like crazy damage and combos and synergies, but like the enemy just hits you really hard, and at the end of the day it's like, well, can you dodge or parry? Because none of that bullshit matters, because you're gonna die really quick if you can't dodge or parry. So like it's fun, and I love menu diving, and I think there's a lot of juicy stuff there, but at the end of the day, you're playing Sekiro the RPG, and you have to get good at that or you're not going to be successful, no matter how much time you're spending on your character builds. It's just, except
if you did not like Sekiro, you're not going to have a fun time with the combat in this game.
But I do think
but there are difficulty options in this, at least.
Yeah, this game reviews incredibly well, and I think rightfully so. But to your point, Brad, I do think the combat, like the what's great about the game is like the combat itself, like the moment to moment.
It's fun. It's very fun.
It's so fun that like and challenging, like, because it's, again, if you're not really, if you don't like learn enemy patterns and like get really good at dodging,
you can get wiped so quickly in this game.
You can get wiped the fuck out, even if you have like amazing picto abilities in place and all this stuff. So like, because that is so fun, like if the moment to moment combat wasn't so fun, I feel like this game would have been reviewed significantly worse because of what you just described. Because the menu system, while cool, is maybe
messy.
It's a little messy,
imbalanced,
imbalanced.
But like it's not refined. But like there's some really good ideas in there, and there's some really good strong pictos that like are even like I have everyone that all of my characters have like, and I'm sure they get crazier even further than one I'm at. But like there's one like called Solidify, right? Where if you take, I think it's called Solidify, where if you take like 50% damage, like you get like 3 shields on your character, and like that is a very like good what are they called? Fucking it's a good skill to have,
passive
because even if you're not good at like parrying or dodging, like it is a way you can RPG your way to success by equipping a skill like that, which is nice. It's nice that there are some of those options, but it's still, that's only going to save you for like one round. In the next round, when the boss or enemy does it again, that skill ain't going to save you. So it's just giving you a little bit of breathing room.
And I do think it is continuous. I continue to think it's really cool that like every individual character in your team has their own like combat mechanics. Like no two characters play with the exact same. Outside of just doing regular attacks and dodges and parries, like they all have their own like magic system or attack system that you have to learn.
Can I ask how y'all feel about CL and combat?
I think CL's great.
I only use ladies, so
I use Lune, and I go back and forth between using CL and Mael a lot.
I feel like CL has the hardest learning curve. She's my reserve team lead when I use her. And it took me quite a while to figure out exactly how to use her properly.
I'm convinced I still don't know if I'm using her properly or not, but I can wipe the floor with her, even though I feel like
that's the thing with CL, right? It's like with Mael and Lune, like I know exactly what I'm doing, how I'm getting to the damage I'm doing. It can be insane. Like my Mael is like fucking crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with CL, it's like I think I'm getting her. I guess I'll do this skill. I kind of wish I like figured her out as much as the others, and then she would do an attack that is like so insanely powerful. And I'm like, how did you just do that's insane? How did you dish out that much damage? I don't even know what I'm doing, and you just out damaged the other two members combined. So there's something going on there. There's definitely some numbers going up. It's like she's like the Nubby's number factory of RPG characters. I don't know. If you know, you know.
Yeah. My entire primary team is all in service of Mael with her 200% level combat stance. And
did you get the sword that lets her start in that stance?
No. I found a better sword eventually that can enhance that stance and auto heals every time I switch to it for my entire party.
Healing.
Yeah.
Your entire party?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So
to me, healing means nothing because you're either alive or dead in my game.
Well,
I'm alive or I'm dead.
Well, what I figured out when I've structured my current team to do is always burn the enemy, and then I have combinations of Lumina passives and actives and skills that are constantly healing my team. So I can risk going for parries all the time, and within a turn get back to full health really quickly.
But there's also. Oh, go ahead.
I love Mael's just damage scaling. I currently she is at level 84 for me in the game. I'm in Act 3.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I did a combination attack with her last night that did 2.8 million damage.
I thought the max damage was 9999.
You break the damage cap at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, dude, this game continues to be really cool. I'm digging it. This has been kind of my main focus.
I heard they're doing nerfs. They're doing like balance changes.
The only thing they
weird
nerfed
in a single player
was
RPG.
The only thing they nerfed was like one very particular ability that could one-hit kill every enemy in the game, including the final boss. So they nerfed that significantly.
It sounds like maybe that should be nerfed. I have had one strange thing, and maybe this is just me, and I am playing it on Game Pass. This game, like I would say 50% of the time, when I boot the game up, I go into the load menu or continue menu, and I select my save, game crashes.
Really?
And when it starts doing that, I have to restart my computer to get it to stop doing that.
Huh.
And it's happened only with that game.
Installing and reinstalling, maybe.
Yeah, but that just
you have the latest drivers.
I have done that.
About? How long?
I have the latest drivers. I've definitely updated the drivers. I've done that.
Well, there were new drivers for
it's only
NVIDIA
this
that came out just a few days ago.
I know. I got those. I'm just saying, it's only this game. I have no other issues opening any other games.
I mean, but like that weird PC issues are not, or like can be game specific for sure. But like, how really long is uninstalling and reinstalling gonna take on your connection? Surely not too much.
I'm just being lazy, okay?
Well, I mean, I think restarting your computer every time you want to play it seems like a lot.
It's not every time. It's not every time. And maybe 50% was maybe an exaggeration. It's maybe more like 30% of the time when I. But like once it starts doing that, like once it does it once, I know that I'm gonna have to restart my computer before it'll actually let me in to do it. It drives me crazy when it happens, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
I really need y'all to progress in the game and get to Act 3 and have all the story beats in it.
Yeah, what are you talking?
What do you think?
I need you to hurry the fuck up. I need you to hurry the fuck up, man. This is
Chris Davis. I
have children.
So much Law and Order to watch.
Yeah, which
hate
is like
what you
the
just said,
same
Nick.
thing, basically.
You're
Children,
kidding,
Law
I'm
and
kidding.
Order. it's
Look.
potato potato.
I am working as hard as I can on this, but I also am replaying The Last of Us Part 2.
No, no.
Yeah, it's
Stop
happening.
it.
It's happening. No,
No.
it's too late.
Bad Nick.
Nope, it's happening. That game's still fucking amazing. I've been like bouncing back and forth this past week, but you know, but I'm also like dabbling in other things, and I have, I'm still intending to go back to Assassin's Creed Shadows, but like I've kind of put that on the back burner because I don't want to be juggling like 14 like really long games at a time. Like, that seems to be the problem. I'm never gonna finish anything if I don't just focus on one or two games at a time.
I got to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember my life before I had like
Children.
kids and stuff, and like I don't think I played more games necessarily. So like, but maybe I did. I don't know.
You did.
I can't play like I don't play this card often because I still find time to play games. But like, what do y'all? What? Don't rush me, Chris Davis. I do a pretty good job, all things considered. God damn it.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that Ed and Nolan are going to pop up on this podcast going, you know what? I can't believe how many games you still manage to find time to play, Brad. And the truth is I sleep very little and I got used to it. But
Also, and I don't have the same excuse that Brad has, but I will tell you this. Over the past few years, I have slowly transitioned from being a night owl to being a morning person. As in, after like 8 p.m., it's hard to get me to play a video game. Like, it's too much. It's too much to play a video game after like 8 p.m. Not all the time, but a lot of times. But when I get up, like on weekends, I get up at like 6 a.m. and I'll play games until like noon. So like
8 p.m. is when
is when your night starts.
Well, yeah, no, 9 p.m. really is when my night starts.
Yeah.
And then I still get up at 6. I don't know. You find the time. I don't know.
Just
the point is, we're working on it, Chris Davis. Don't fucking rush us. How dare you?
Look, I'm just. I
understand.
I only play one game at a time, so it makes sense.
I had the sneezes, so I went home to take a nap. I didn't have time to play my video game.
Yeah.
Don't take the bait, Chris Davis.
Today was rough day.
I'm surprised you're not finished yet. I got to be honest with you, Chris Davis.
Well, my problem is that I open up Act 3 and the world fucking opens up and all this side content that they've hinted at just is there and you can go do it. And I've just been so focused on that. And all of it is just so fucking compelling.
I will say this. This is like my favorite overworld.
This doesn't exist anymore.
I know, and that's like it had like all this time I've been telling myself that like it's not really possible to do with like this like modern technology and stuff. Like it's just like they have to take different approaches. Bullshit. I've been gaslighting myself for years.
Modern RPGs don't want to do this kind of overworld because they think it's not cool anymore.
I would play so many more JRPGs if this became the standard again. I'm just saying. When it comes to overworld design, I would play so many more.
Though. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they don't want to do like an abstracted like tiny version of the world. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is obsessed with the exact opposite. They want the idea of like a giant city. Like so much so that they won't even let you see it from certain angles, with like Midgar and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like impossible. It's like impossibly big.
I'm just saying, I think somewhere along the line, that might be a major contributing factor to where I kind of fell off of playing. Because I used to play JRPGs like more than anything.
No.
And then somewhere along the line, I just kind of like shifted focus and lost interest in it. And
last year's efforts with that doesn't support your argument, but okay.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is that like last year's challenge for me wouldn't have been necessary if I was still actively like playing JRPGs all the time.
I will say, Nick, you like the ones you do play are definitely like the cool ones, you know. Like you need to like. I want to see you play like a Xenoblade game or something, you
I
know,
have,
something.
dude. I bought Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 and played about 15, 20 hours of both of them.
That
And
doesn't
stopped.
mean we've established that doesn't mean anything. This is why we did the list because you got to play through an entire one of those games.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like they lose me. They constantly like lose me along the way, and I don't know what it is or why. I didn't used to be this way. I didn't used to be this way, guys. I used to play
Xenoblade's a little overrated.
I used to play JRPGs almost exclusively. Like there was a time in my life where like that was all I did.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
You were like a child.
You met David and the podcast started.
No,
I mean, that there might be some truth there. Like there, not entirely, but like that is probably the shifting point. Like where I really like broadened my horizons when it came to gaming is when I started, working at GameStop with David. But I'm saying there's something design wise that just takes me back with this game that I love and I adore and I respect, and I wish more games would do it.
Speaking of games,
where are we going?
This is a video game.
I've been playing Bionic Bay.
I started this game, but I'm not very far.
You being not
weird.
very far in this game means
It's weird.
You've done done nothing.
I mean, I've played like an hour and a half.
Yeah, which is almost nothing
to get a feel for. You're right.
No, the thing is, I've only played for like 3 hours, but I feel like I've had to play 3 hours before I even kind of get to the point where it even felt like
I'm kind of waiting for
enough
that
to like talk about or whatever. I'm saying like after I only played an hour and a half, I would have not had anything to say about this game probably. So like
Sure.
what I'm saying is you probably don't have much of an opinion.
I don't. I mean, the only opinion I think I've formed so far is that this game is kind of weird. Like I don't know how I feel. I don't know what to think of it. I'm waiting for like the other shoe to drop, right? Because it's really well reviewed.
Yeah, which is the thing. I'm trying to look at the footage, but I'm just getting ads. Yeah, no, so it's like the reviews, right? I don't know how many reviews that it has, but it is. I noticed something interesting. I will say, first thing first, it's like a Limbo, right? It's like a puzzly platformer, but it's not just like explicit puzzle solving. It's you're just sort of. When I say it's a Limbo, like it's sort of like it's almost like a death trap platformer where like in Limbo, you're gonna run into like a little a section of like a puzzle or like a platforming situation where you're almost like set up to fail, and it's more about figuring out how not to die, and progress through this little like moment to like get to the next moment. And like Limbo, it just sort of keeps going and going and going. I will say, like, if there's anything about this game that I don't like, it's that I kind of wish it was more like explicitly level based, challenge based or something, because it just feels kind of like endless. Like it just keeps going and going and going. And maybe that's how Limbo was back then, but I still felt like there were like distinct like acts to like Limbo. Like, oh, this is definitely this part of Limbo. This almost just feels like an endless, like
the environments aren't necessarily as obviously separated visually speaking. Maybe they don't have.
It's not even about visuals. Like even mechanically, they don't feel like that distinct from each other. Like even though there is a lot going on in terms of like mechanics and abilities and stuff. And again, I'm not. This is almost a game that I kind of wish I just finished before I talked about it, honestly, because I kind of don't know where it goes. But I've definitely played enough of it now to say that I really do like it. I think there's been a lot of like Limbo likes over the years, but they've all felt kind of similar in terms of like the way those games play. This one feels like imagine Limbo that felt really good to control. Like you have a lot of like jumping and dodging and air dashing or whatever feels really good. Like you could tell they spent a lot of time in like making the platforming and stuff feel good and physicsy and just fun. It's fun to move around. Like you could be in an empty room and it would feel fun to move your character around. And that is certainly not something you could say something about like Limbo or other games in the genre. So they put a lot of effort into that. And there's a lot of like, if you look at some of the stuff I'm doing, like it's definitely ramping up in difficulty, and you're kind of having to push your dexterity just as much as your thinking cap, right? Because it is
the
a
main
little
mechanic
puzzling.
of this would you say like the main mechanic of this game is that ability to like switch with
Yeah, but there
things?
is more mechanics from what I understand later.
I've only
But that's
barely
sort of
tried to
like,
like dabble with that.
yeah, because you don't do much with it at first. Like it's a very slow, like it's paced like a Limbo game. Like it's not in a hurry to like get crazy with those mechanics, but like it does get there. And I will say that, you know, like it's ramping up in difficulty and like the challenges are getting more interesting and more exciting. But again, it's fun to move around. One thing I noticed is I've been playing this on my Steam Deck, Nick. I imagine you have as well.
Yeah, so have I.
When I installed this on my computer to capture footage, I realized that like this is a really pretty game. And like I can kind of get a sense of that from the Steam Deck, but you
appreciate it more on a bigger screen.
I appreciated it way more when I was looking at it at a computer monitor. It's a really nice looking game. There's like really cool effects, especially when you start getting into like some of like the lava, and like there's all kinds of like lasers and lava and stuff that just like melts you instantly. Like those effects and like the lighting and stuff as well. It looks really, really nice, and it feels really polished, and like it plays very mechanically satisfying.
The ragdoll physics are hilarious.
The ragdoll physics are hilarious because you're kind of like you're not like immortal or anything, but your body's like, it's almost like it's made of rubber, and the only thing that really kills it is like, you know, like lava or lasers or like a really, really long fall. So like the game will like quite literally funnel you into like little moments where you're just getting like flung around, and it's very funny and it feels cool.
I've thought I died like multiple times just to see that I guess I'm still alive.
And you're just kind of transitioning.
Been tossed around like a fucking ragdoll. I guess I'm still here though.
And again, you might not really get a sense from the footage, especially if you're just like looking at this on the Twitch app on your phone or something. But like this stuff looked really good on my PC, like with these really bright like lights and from like these hot iron things that are like stomping and stuff. Yeah, this is exactly like embers, hot embers and stuff. There's always a lot of that shit in this game, and I don't know, like once I put that together, looking at it on my PC, I started to realize that I'm starting to understand where the good scores came from. It's just a really like pretty nice, polished, good playing like Limbo like, and you know the success of like Limbo and Inside and whatnot is like the look and the polish, and it is that complete package, honestly. You know, also, it's not like Limbo or Inside is like brilliant like puzzle design. It is that entire package. And this, although you know this doesn't really have like a story, even like a background story like a Limbo has maybe, but like it just,
especially with Inside,
it plays well and it looks nice. Like again, I can't tell you enough. This stuff looked really good on my PC.
Yeah, but especially with something like Inside, like that story played a huge part in why that game was so well received. Especially like,
but it's not even like explicit story necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it's not even like plot. It's just like weird little like vignettes that felt like, you know, it was more like the feelings that like were evoked in some of the stuff that was happening more than, you know, plot or anything.
Yeah.
But again, just a nice looking, good playing, like it, and it goes down smooth. Like this is like an easy game to like sort of pick up and play. You know, the checkpointing is very forgiving. You're almost like always just starting right from like a few feet away from the last thing that killed you. And I kind of want to, I definitely want to finish it, but I kind of want to keep playing on like, you know,
PC.
Yeah. Is this on like PlayStation or like Xbox and stuff? It might even be worth playing on like a 4K television or whatever.
I honestly have not looked to see what all the platforms. I would imagine that it's on PS5 or something, but
I still think it might be like a little high. But
maybe somebody in chat knows.
It's on PS5.
at the end of the day, like
You would have to start over though.
no, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not actually gonna like pick it up on like PS5 or anything. But at the end of the day, I think it as far as like the score goes. I think the indie tax is real, but I've come to realize that it's more just like an ugly game tax. Not it's like the handheld tax, right? These just don't look like the kinds of games that deserve tens or whatever. That sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
While like Expedition 33 is absolutely, it looks like the kind of game that deserves a 10, even if it's, really good in its own right. That game was never going to get taxed if it was actually good. And I think this game, it just looks nice and plays great. So I get why maybe it wasn't taxed. Or just maybe didn't get a lot of reviews. Who knows? But it's nice. It's nice. Like, again, do you see all these like embers and shit? This shit looks so good on my PC.
I'm gonna install this on my PC and try.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. And it takes a while. It starts slow, like you don't get to like the really cool visual stuff like right away. But it's nice. I like it. Bionic Bay, currently in 88.
Damn.
I don't want to talk about fantasy or anything, but like somebody in my Super League picked this up, and it's like, he got away with murder, and he's acting like, oh yeah, not everyone thought this shit was gonna be like a 78, and he's all like, whatever, motherfucker.
Shit, Brad's just devolving into talking trash about Fantasy Critic. Let's move on.
He motherfucker looked out. He lucked out. That's all.
Motherfucker lucked out.
You get so lost in this game. Nah, it's pretty straightforward. Oh wait, what is he talking about? Sorry, Zlayden chat might have been talking about the last game that we talked about. I'm still getting lost in areas in Expedition 33, by the way, man. I still want like an arrow or a mini map or something, just because it takes so long. I'm glad the game finally gave me an option to teleport back to the world map from save points, though, because holy shit, walking out of areas after exploring, going back into explore is just kind of not worth it because they're too large.
Yeah.
Weirdly so.
So let's see what else. I mean, there's probably not a ton. I will say this: next week's show.
News. Oh,
yeah. I was just say next week's show, impressions wise, a lot of stuff to be excited about because at that point, Doom: The Dark Ages will be out. We'll be playing that. I'm going to talk about Labyrinth of the Demon King. I'll be talking about. I know Crispy's been balls deep in Skin Deep. I should. Oh fuck! I missed an opportunity there. Which I know he's in love with that game, so I'm sure he'll talk about that next week. Among other things, so should be lots to talk about. But for now, let's. I do want to talk a little bit about what's been going on and again, kind of as a follow up to what we talked about last week, related to games media. Last week it was all doom and gloom, rightfully so.
Well, what did we say last week? Did we actually talk about? Did we know this news? We did.
No.
We talked about
this news. We didn't know.
No. I'm talking about like Valnet buying Polygon.
Yeah. We knew that.
Laying off all those people. We did talk about it last week.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, what we're about to talk about right now is not. Obviously doesn't change a lot of that, most of that, all of that. But there has been some positive, surprising news as of this week, which is cool. Because
so last week, I guess we talked about it last week. We talked about how on the Giant Bomb specifically, there was some shenanigans. They had this whole like brand safety like thing that they were pushing on all their people. They had to like they had to stop streaming and stuff. They were like, oh no, only pre-recorded stuff, and it's got to be PG-13, and brand safety. Anyways, they they kind of went dark for a while. A podcast got pulled down. We kind of found out that maybe Jeff Grubb got fired, and Dan Reichert was out there saying that he's never going to appear on Giant Bomb ever again. But then that got pulled down. They went dark for a while until like a few days ago they all started pointing to their PAX panel of like, hey, y'all should pay attention to this PAX panel, and they all said it pretty much at the same time, and that's when people knew something was up.
Something was up.
And then they came out to like NWO music, which it's funny because people were already talking about like NWO and like the Giant Bomb threads and stuff because they're very wrestling coded anyways, and and Microsoft fired 7,000 employees. Is that something that just happened? Sorry. Anyways,
happened this morning.
Jesus.
This morning?
Yeah.
I must have missed that. Holy fucking shit.
It's across the entire country, or no, the entire company. And their excuse is that it's a lot of middle management, but I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, good excuse.
7,000 people in the middle man.
The yeah, all this to say is that they came out at the PAX panel and basically said that they're independent now, but they bought Giant Bomb from Fandom, and I guess there's 5 owners now. It's Jeff Grubb, Jeff Bacalar, Dan Reichert, Jan Ochoa, and Mike Minotti. They're the 5 owners of Giant Bomb, and they're going independent, and they're going to continue doing what they're doing. But they now own Giant Bomb, and it's all like subscriber driven. You know, Giant Bomb's been subscriber driven for a very long time. But there's a lot of ways to support them.
And also owned by like much larger corporations.
Oh yeah. For years and years, they've been owned by like large corporations. They've been passed around by large corporations. It's crazy because Giant Bomb formed on the, it was when Jeff Gerstmann got fired, right? For like giving a game that they had had to with like a really low score. Yeah, Kane Lynch.
Kane Lynch 2. Was it Kane Lynch 2 or
6.0?
Yep.
Remember when that was like a tragic score? I guess it's still kind of a bad score. But, they had a huge ad deal and they fired him. And then he obviously, after he got fired, a bunch of other people or a few other people from GameSpot left and they started Giant Bomb. But like the whole idea of Giant Bomb was to be like the anti-big corporate games media. They released that video like early on where like, they were like, Jeff Gerstmann was like naming all these people in the industry of, basically threatening their lives. It was a joke, but they had like airsoft guns and shit, but like, it's a classic Giant Bomb video. This shit was hilarious. Anyways, over the years, they've been, they were eventually bought out by the company that owned GameSpot. And that was even that was years and years ago. They got passed around. So for them to finally go independent is actually kind of huge because like it seemed like all of the shit over the years that made everyone upset, that made people leave and get fired and want to have nothing to do with it was always about like their big corporate ownership. So I don't know. This is kind of exciting. It's kind of huge. You love to see
someone
it.
who.
It makes me nervous because, the more people that they bring over for stuff like this, it's like, how sustainable is it? I hope it is sustainable.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I've been listening to these people for a very long time.
Right out of the gate, they seem to be doing really well. But, I listen to gaming podcasts as well. It's been I've kind of like dipped out of it for a while.
Yeah,
but like Giant Bomb
if you don't know, you don't know. And maybe Giant Bomb's like current incarnation is not really your flavor, Nick, but like I definitely vibe. I am going to go. I listen to all the Jeff Grubb and Mike Minotti like Game Mess stuff, all their podcasts, and I've liked their stuff even before.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Minotti
jump
started appearing like on Giant Bomb.
I'm intending to kind of jump back in and use this as kind of like maybe a kicking off point to kind of get me back into it because I have been notoriously. I used to listen to gaming podcasts daily, and now it's more like a couple times a month. So I'm gonna try and maybe use this as kind of like an opportunity.
It still
to dip my
might
toes
not
back
be your
into
vibe.
It. I mean,
like
that's
so
fine,
like
fine,
because
but
they're definitely into like it's like very Dan Reichert energy as well. I mean, if you're familiar, right?
Like
one of the things that I think that it seems like they love the most and maybe like best represents like their kind of energy right now is they're like obsessed with Blight Club. Yeah, which is their game club series where they play like the worst games ever. And they're like so into like playing these horrid games and like so much like funny shit comes from these like tragic games. And like that's the kind of energy they're bringing to the table. Like if you can get down with people like doing like punishing themselves basically for fun, that's kind of the energy of like modern Giant Bomb, honestly. But it's a good time. Like it's definitely the energy of people like enjoying themselves is sort of what you get from that podcast. So, but I've always been a fan. I mean, I never stopped listening to Giant Bomb. I went from like the hotspot back in the day to the current incarnation of Giant Bomb, and I never really stopped. So, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for them because, and I hope everything works out. But like, they still had, they bought like Giant Bomb, so it's not like they're just a YouTube channel / podcast. They got this whole website, and even them were like, they were like straight up saying, "Look, I don't know how much of this website we can actually like figure out and like go forward because they don't have like engineers anymore that used to like run that shit in the background."
Yeah.
So I imagine some of that stuff's going to go away, or a lot of it's going to go away, but whatever.
I think they own everything. They have all the assets, but a lot of it is like connected to fandom stuff still. So they've got to figure out how to disconnect it and then re-enable it on their end.
They got a lot of shit to figure out, I think, as well.
It's crazy to see. And like just today, I sometimes watch like the Jeff Gerstmann podcast where he does like a solo podcast.
Yeah.
He's been doing for a long time since he got fired from Giant Bomb. The most recent version of Giant Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
He had Dan Reichert on today, which is crazy because like he doesn't talk to like any of those people. Like,
no.
It's so much so that like people thought like, oh, there must be like some bad blood or some shit. But I think he just didn't want to associate with anybody who was associated with the current version of Giant Bomb. Maybe even like contractually, he was not really allowed to like really like talk about that stuff. But it's crazy. Like since that happened, he's all of a sudden, I've seen him on multiple other podcasts, Jeff Gerstmann, talking about all this stuff.
They went on Kind of Funny. They've been on multiple things.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see for sure.
Absolutely.
Like the only small thing I'm curious about is where they got the funding, but that's like 0%. Like
so they've talked about some of that stuff. It sounds like maybe
private investment.
It's not like I don't know. I think maybe like. Because at first they said it was that Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar bought Giant Bomb. And I think it's possible that maybe they had some sort of like stake in that version of the company. And like, it sounded like it was part of a negotiation of leaving or whatever. Like maybe they had like some contract stuff going on and they basically leveraged some of that to like take the brand with them. Cause I mean, I don't know. I mean, the truth is Giant Bomb got passed around over the years, usually because they were lumped in with something that large company wanted instead, like CNET or whatever, or even GameSpot. Like, so they even said it themselves that they usually just got kind of brought along as like a bonus. And that's kind of why they had so much trouble, because their new corporate owners didn't actually really care about them or understand what they were brought to the table that was unique from the other gaming stuff like GameSpot. So I don't know. There's a lot of stories about all that stuff, and a lot of it's out there now. And yeah.
It was just good to see some positive news for a change.
Positive news for sure.
Yeah. So congratulations to all of them. That's fucking awesome, and I like the energy. People seem to be really responding to it really. I mean, positively, because again, I'm sure we're not the only ones who are sick and tired of just constant negativity. And then
shout out. And this is unrelated, but like shout out to I don't know. I'm pimping MinMax. I watch a lot of the MinMax content. I think they're probably one of the best out there right now. And there's a travelogue where Ben and Jacob went to Sao Paulo for like the Gamescom they do down in Brazil. And like just the awareness, like MinMax, they're pretty successful as far as like an independent like games media like group,
Yeah.
They have a lot of like a pretty big audience, and like the people they have on their like cohorts or whatever who they pay, but they're not like full-time employees, but they show up on all the podcasts and stuff. And one of them is Jacob Geller, who is like a really, really successful video essayist. But he does stuff with MinMax, and MinMax is like successful for like games media, but like his videos will like oftentimes get over like 1 million views or whatever. So to see like a travelogue, it's like a MinMax travelogue but he's constantly getting stopped by random people in Brazil because he's like a super successful YouTuber. And it like just seeing Ben's realization of like, I feel like we don't talk about this enough because we get all like excited when Min-Max like videos do over like 10,000 views or whatever. But like, it is like this weird disconnect of having like a much, much more successful YouTuber as being a regular on our podcast, and just kind of seeing that from like the people constantly stopping him was just kind of funny. But yeah, anyways, I don't know. I thought we were talking about podcasts, so I thought I'd bring that up. That's more of like a 4-player minute vibe, but what are we doing here today?
Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for the 4-player minute?
Is that what we're talking about? Also, Polygon still exists. So there's a few people who survived.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was the weird part is I also listened to the Triple Click podcast, which is, I mean, most people know who Jason Schreier is, but that's the podcast that he's on every week. And one of the people on that podcast is Maddie Myers, who worked at Polygon for a long time, still at Polygon. She's one of the Polygon survivors. So to have her kind of like, everyone is talking about, oh, rest in peace, Polygon. And she was like, oh, well, I'm still there. We're still trying to salvage this. I'm still going to try to put out good stuff, but I don't know. I guess she wasn't like a union employee. The thing is, they fired all the union employees at Polygon, which I think was most of them. So yeah.
Fucking hate that shit. Okay.
Trash.
All right.
Now am I wrapping things up with the 4-player?
Yeah, let's do it. I said this was going to be kind of a short and sweet, fire from the hip kind of episode, so we're there. Let's do it.
I'm not ready for my 4-player minute. Go ahead, Chris Davis.
All right, Chris Davis, kick us off.
Hang on 1 second. Mark this down.
Man, he's not ready either.
No, I had to mark down the time index because I edit these videos. God damn it!
All right,
I was like, I have to go first. Finally.
I mean.
How are you doing as Fantasy Critic?
I'm not paying attention to Fantasy Critic. I don't care anymore.
Excuse me, I'm a fucking sore loser. I ain't over till it's over. What the fuck, Chris Davis?
I mean, look, I don't.
Don't let him hijack
combat game is gonna get announced.
Don't let him hijack.
I would love
94.
I would love for it to be 90. It deserves better than 94, but you know, I'm realistic. I understand that. No, my entire life focus right now, as far as gaming goes, is getting through Clair Obscur. Act 3 is just kind of incredible. The twist and lore drop that they throw at you is fucking
easy, buddy.
amazing.
Easy, buddy.
I have discovered
can fly in Act 3 though, I imagine.
Yes, yeah, that's how you discover.
I'm pretty excited.
So much.
I'm definitely seeing stuff up in the sky, and I'm like, I can't wait till he can fly.
Dude, SKA is like maybe one of the best characters. Like,
SKA is great.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking love it. Yeah. Also,
But
I had a moment the other night. I think it was around the time when you first meet. What's his name? Is it Monaco? Is that his name?
Monaco.
Well, that's not how you say it, but neither is
Monaco. Whatever. Like one of the first interactions you have with Monaco when you start to kind of like realize he's like battle crazed or whatever. Like there was a line of dialogue that made me like laugh out fucking loud, like in a room by myself. And I was like, I kind of
it's a well-written game, and there's a lot of funny moments, and there's a lot of great characters. But I will say, like the whole after every story moment, it's like, do you want to spend time with every single one of these characters? I feel like I'm sitting around camp for like an hour just talking to people, and I kind of wish they like paced that out a little bit better.
I mean, you could just leave camp and then come back to camp later.
Shut up. No one does that. Everyone has to do it all.
I'm not saying that anyone does it. I'm saying you can do it.
The better way is to do it like a Tales of game, where a Tales of game has the moments like pop up as you're in the world, exploring the world. That would have been cool instead of just dumping
there
them all
is some
at
of
you
that.
At camp.
It's not that organic that's happening, but it does happen every now and then. Also, like those moments when you're at the camp, like there are just some magical fucking scenes that happen.
It's good stuff. It's just that there's a dump of it. You know, it's like at some point you're kind of like, I want to get back to the game a little bit, but I guess this is.
Hey, one other thing this game desperately needs, kind of like the game desperately needs kind of like an arrow or a mini map or something. The ability to like auto progress text dialogue. I'm tired of
that's annoying. Yeah, I don't know why there's not auto progress.
Coffee, like while watching these cutscenes, and I have to keep tapping the fucking A to get it to like progress the text. It's just
I agree. It's weird.
It's the worst.
Okay, whatever.
But those are nitpicks. Those are nitpicks.
That's a
The
very
game's
much
fucking
No,
great.
no. That's a reasonable nitpick. Don't you do that, Chris Davis. I know it's going to be your game of the year, and that's fine. It might be my game of the year. Don't. That's a valid fucking nitpick. You don't have to 100% unconditionally love this game.
No.
Say it.
You don't
say
have
it.
to
It would be better if it
slaughter
had that option.
entirely.
More options are always
It
better.
could use some better accessibility features. I will.
I wouldn't be surprised if they patch some of those things in later. But anyways, whatever.
Oh, probably.
Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, this game is incredible. I discovered the super secret ultra hidden boss, and
Ruby weapon.
I mean, worse. I figured out how to beat this boss, but the actual act of doing it is harder than like any Sekiro boss fight.
It sounds obnoxious. It sounds like something I'm not going to want to do.
No, you're not going to want to do it.
I will be skipping.
But that being said, the narrative implications that they're going with there are really fucking cool. Because I mean, sure, yeah, go fucking YouTube if you want to.
I will let somebody else do
I'll
the,
at least turn
do the
it
work.
down to easy. Maybe I'll turn it down to easy to do it.
That probably would be for the best for this particular fight because it is a fucking challenge. Oh man, but like that's my primary focus. I probably would have finished it by now, but May is just such a busy month for me. I've got a medical procedure on Friday. I'm studying for a big exam at the end of the month, and then I've got a bunch of other things going on. So
what was that? Can you show us the cover of that book? What kind of exam are we talking about here?
Guide to Product Ownership Analysis.
That
so
sounds...
I can be IIBA certified as a product analyst.
Sounds
interesting.
Boring.
It does sound boring, but hey,
you're not wrong. But
what's not?
It's worth it for what I get if I get it. So, yeah. But as soon as I finish Claire, like I'm savoring it, but I'm gonna finish all the end content before I actually go to the final sequence. Then I'll go to Doom. I had one other game I wanted to talk about that I've been saving, and I'll talk about later.
Pegline?
No, but it'll be that kind of reaction from you, Brad. I guarantee it.
Oh boy!
Whoa, can you give us a tease? Give us a tease. I want a tease.
It's a game we talked about last year.
Just the tip.
That's all you get.
Last year?
Yes.
Is it like one of those like what the fuck are you talking about? Like
that's all you. I just given you the tip, Brad. You're not getting anything else. And then I want to play the Precinct, because
of course you do.
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
Shut the fuck up, Brad. I'm like,
but you know what I'm saying.
I want a game where you play as a good cop.
No such thing. Sorry.
You want a game where you play as a good cop?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm watching tons of Law and Order. I have no room to talk.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll shut up now.
All right, Brad. You must be ready now.
I was listening to him. I wasn't thinking about my own.
God damn it.
Fuck off.
You're very off the cuff. You can do this.
You know, I've been thinking about. I've still been playing a lot of Star Vaders, and it's funny because like, I realize that, man, I've kind of like been in their Discord. So like, you know, I joined their Discord, you know, at the beginning of the year because this was like an early like fantasy critic thing that I sniffed out over in the Super League. Anyways, but because of that, I've been kind of following along, and I see it's a game I really want to succeed, but because, you know, it's really good and I want good indie games to succeed. I think it's doing like okay, but I saw them do like some like sponsored deals, like some of the Slay the Spire streamers I watched were like, oh, I have a sponsored deal to play Slay the Spire, and then some of them were like, oh, but this game's really fun, so I'm just gonna play it some now anyways because, you know, I just like it, right? You know, it's like when they do videos after their sponsored deal, right? Because they just like the game. And Northern Lion is a, you know, YouTuber I watch a lot and / streamer, that I watch a lot, and he plays a lot of those kinds of games. And I don't even think he had an ad deal for Star Vaders, but it's crazy because he really likes the game, but like no one wants to watch it. Like he's frequently commenting on how like one of the titles for his recent a recent Star Vaders video is it doesn't matter what I title this because you're not going to click on it anyways. And like the bit is just that like he's frustrated because it's a game he likes to play, but his audience doesn't want to watch him play it. And eventually he's just going to stop.
There.
He's going to stop. Yeah, exactly. I found it like insanely relatable, but like he's a very successful streamer, YouTube content creator, and he plays these kinds of games. Like if he played Slay the Spire, he'll get, 10,000 people watching him, right? Whatever. But like it's crazy when even at that level, sometimes it's just like if you're trying to feed a family, maybe you can't just keep uploading Star Vaders videos. And it sucks because like he's the kind of like person that if he likes it, I think he'll probably, and he has a big enough audience, well, he'll probably get some copies sold, right? Which is great. But like if
he'll move some units.
He'll move some units, but like if it's not a game that's really fun to watch and it's just fun to play, it's not going to be like successful for any of the streamers. Like it's just not going to be a successful game on the level of, like a Slay the Spire, which is a game that people love to watch people play as well. Like and I've just realized that like that's how an indie game gets to like that sort of next level, like super successful. I think is it like these content creators or whatever, like they dictate a lot of how much a game blows up. It like way beyond just the quality of the game itself. And it's crazy to think that even this man who's really in love with this game can't do much to like
can't move the needle
beyond just maybe help it sell like a few thousand extra copies or whatever, and I don't know, it's sad but interesting to see and very in line with how I kind of feel about some games like this. And it's just funny how on this one we're kind of like on the same page of like this game's cool, fuck everyone who's just ignoring it because they're dumb. But anyways,
word.
Star Vaders, pick it up. Star Vaders,
pick it up. All right, my final thoughts for the week. No big surprise. We're in the midst of The Last of Us Season 2, and I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. But I decided last weekend that I was ready to replay the game because it's actually been a little while since I replayed it, and
this motherfucker. Sorry. Wait. This motherfucker does love RoboCop.
Who? Me?
No, Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, of course he does. Of course he does.
RoboCop Rogue City was fucking great.
This
propaganda.
Fucking propaganda. Sorry, Nick.
Fuck you. He's a cyborg cop.
Yeah, but the cyborg is not even the interesting part to you, is
he
it?
Shoots rapists in the dick.
He does. He does do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's true.
This is my 4-player minute, goddammit.
Sorry. Tell us about how Ice-T does the same, but with his wit.
Wait, what?
Shoots rapists in the dick.
I wasn't going to talk about Ice-T. No, look, I've been really enjoying Season 2 of The Last of Us. And it's just kind of making me really nostalgic for the game, and I like to every once in a while just remind myself that I don't always have to play the new hotness. I'd like to try and find time to go back and replay some stuff. So
can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yeah, go for it.
You said the words you said were, "It's been a while since I've replayed The Last of Us 2."
Yes, I have played the game multiple times. This is like
this is like the second or third playthrough.
This will be my third or fourth. I can't. Yes, time I've played, but I have not played it in like 2 years.
That's too much.
That's a lot.
We're talking about like what is legitimately one of my favorite games of all time. Like, it's it's like do y'all not rewatch your favorite movies of all time every once in a while?
Not really.
Every once in a while, but that's a movie and that's 2 hours. The Last of Us Part 2 is like 40 hours long.
You're right, and it is a story that I love so much, and a game that like the game feel is something that I love so much. Just the vibe that the game has, I love so much that I was just feeling very nostalgic for it. And the show obviously is just kind of stoking that fire. And I also thought it would be interesting to kind of like replay the game in the midst, simultaneously, kind of like alongside the show, to kind of like call attention to the changes that they're making.
I do kind of, I kind of had that desire myself for sure.
Because they are making a lot of changes. I think they're a little more subtle this time around than they were the first season of the show. But yeah, like
she's using a 9-iron this time around. Got it.
No, I'm talking about like in the game, the whole impetus for them leaving Jackson to go after Abby. The only reason that Maria lets them leave Jackson is because Tommy snuck out and left to go after them.
Yeah.
And in the show, it's the other way around. Abby or Ellie and Dina sneak out, and then Tommy's following them. So like there are things in the game that you come across because they're kind of like following in Tommy's footsteps, but now those things aren't happening, and instead we're kind of getting the opposite effect. So like little things like that that are fun to kind of like notice.
The show feels pressured to like make Tommy more of a character. Well, you know what? We can't talk about certain things.
We don't have to go into it. There's a lot to talk about. I have been doing that.
We should do a spoiler cast when this.
I will say this. If you remember when the first season aired, I was a guest on the Fantasy Files podcast several times to talk about like every episode of that show, and I'm doing that again. So if you are interested,
is that like a?
They mostly talk about like books, but they have like a side show where they talk about TV shows and stuff. So I've been on the episodes talking about Dexter and The Last of Us. So
those are your kinks.
Yeah, those are definitely my kinks for sure. But yeah, it's been fun, and I've been I love so much of that game, and I'm having a really good time. But I'm bouncing back and forth between that and Clair Obscur. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But like I said, Doom comes out very, very soon.
I didn't play Eternal.
I don't think it's gonna matter all that much. Like if you, I don't, it's Doom.
I just don't know if I feel the draw. Despite what Chris Davis famously said about classic Doom is back, to me, these modern Doom games are still not classic Doom to me. I like 2016, but it's not the same sort of itch for me.
I don't know how
I go.
I am excited for Doom: The Dark Ages, but I don't know if it'll really hit me, like how excited I am for it or how into it I really am until I'm actually having a controller in my hand and I'm playing it. So we'll see.
Intricate labyrinthine level design with amazing secrets.
We shall see, and we shall discuss that on the next episode of 4Player Podcast, which will be next Tuesday night. I will say this, guys. Thank you for listening. This is, again, a little bit of a shorter episode tonight, but we hope you enjoyed it. I want to pimp this real quick because one thing I did in Discord. If you're not in our Discord, please join us at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you. It's free. It's a great way to keep in touch with us and the community. But I added the podcast to our event calendar in Discord as a recurring event for every Tuesday night. So if you are the kind of person who likes to tune in for these things live, maybe go into that event in the calendar and click on the I'm interested button, because that'll give you like notifications when we go live for these events. And it kind of helps me out because sometimes I forget to make the post in the announcements channel. So if we can get enough people kind of following this, then you should get the automatic notifications. So go do that. But
also,
that's
one more thing. The deadline for the Twitch highlights download is next Monday, the 19th.
Has anybody been thinking with that?
I've gotten quite a bit.
Okay.
Someone has listed every single highlight clip from the Project M Mario 64, so that's good. But if y'all have other things you want me,
a crazy amount of Chris Davis clips, almost no Brad clips. What the fuck is going on?
Somebody, quote unquote, somebody did this.
Yeah. Well, if y'all would like to help, I'd really appreciate it. It's in the announcements channel. It's just a link to a Google Sheet. Just go there, then go to Twitch, find a highlight that you want to make certain that I save, and I will do my best to save it before the 19th. Just, again, has to be highlights, because that's what they're mainly calling.
That's what's in danger here of losing.
So now
But anyways,
now that Carlos is done with his little marathon to Doom, and then I don't know, is it over? He just didn't play Doom because it's
I don't
mid
know.
or something. I don't know.
It would
Are
be a very
people
Carlos
interested
thing to
in
do.
watching me stream more? Please let me know, because if I at this point in my life, legitimately, if I have to like plug in one extra cable, I'm not gonna bother if there ain't anybody there who's interested in watching it. So I'm only doing it for you guys. So if you are interested in watching me stream, please let me know.
Yeah, make him known. Make that known.
I got a lot going on in my
regardless-
life, so I can entertain
regardless
myself.
of that, you can count on us being here for the podcast every Tuesday night. That's what we're here to do, is to talk about the games that we play and love and maybe hate. So, guys, we will catch you next week. In the meantime, you can find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com or on your preferred podcast service. Leave us a review, subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And don't miss next week's episode, guys. It's going to be a fun one, I have a feeling. Lots to talk about. So, in the meantime, y'all be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Did y'all see that Harada is looking to have a Waffle House stage?
What is the
834.
Yeah, Tekken is in a bad place right now.
It is.
It's at a Waffle House.
They're in a bad place right now. Like they were in a bad place, and like they just announced that they are releasing the most hated character in Tekken, and it's like a bad time. And they were planning on it, and people knew because of data mining or whatever, leaks or whatever. But let me tell you, that's a bad time. Just maybe skip that character, because holy shit.
Well, they've already finished it. Basically, they have to put something out. But like for season 3 and after, they're going back to the old team. They're not using this new team that built season 2. So
whatever. They have to do something, say something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
It's like, such a shame.
Like yesterday, his whole big thing was all about like addressing it.
So hopefully Julia Chang is coming back. I don't know. I mean, Tekken 7 survived Negan, so I think it can come back.
What's wrong with Negan?
Just the fact that Negan is in Tekken.
Yeah, what are you talking about? What's wrong with Negan? That's the most stupidest fucking guest character I've ever.
I mean, it's not the worst guest character we've seen in the fighting games recently.
Fuck Your Mom is definitely the worst. He was like when Tekken 7 started to go sour. Like no one was happy about that dude. And they're bringing him back, and he's so stupid looking. And like to have, not only is he so hated, but like what he is blocking a classic Tekken character that people would love to come back. Bruce used like kind of this Muay Thai, like, boxing style, which is what this character uses. But I think this is an actual like Thai character, and Bruce is, an African American man. I don't know, but like people miss Bruce, and he'll never come back because of this fucking idiot. So like people hate this man so much, and he's blocking Bruce from coming back. And he's got these stupid bullshit mechanics that only he. People are so mad. It's a bad time. Anyways, a little bit of Tekken talk. Bring back Julia, please. Bring back Julia.
Wario64 tweeted 12 minutes ago. First look at Nicolas Cage as Madden and Christian Bale as Raiders or Al Davis for a Madden film.
We've known.
What?
We've known.
I didn't know.
We've been knew he was going to play Madden. Crazy, but
I had no fucking idea.
I didn't know. Did you see the trailer? Did you see the teaser for Spider Noir?
No, not yet.
Dude, it looks It's the live action Spider Noir, like it's the TV show on Amazon Prime based on Spider Noir from the Spider-Verse series, played by Nicolas Cage, and it's fucking awesome.
It's live action TV show.
Live action TV show, Spider Noir, but it's like
it's not gonna be good.
Dude, watch the trailer. It looks sick as hell. Like, I mean, it's just
I'll watch it. I'm skeptical though.
It's a teaser, but it's because it's not coming until next year, but it looks just the footage they show looks pretty sick. I mean, it obviously still comes down to the writing, but the look and the vibe and the action looks pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You think he'll get more than like 30 minutes of screen time in the entire run?
He's the main character, I would imagine. So
Yeah, but like anything action oriented, it's not going to be him.
who cares? Also, that might not be true.
What
Dude,
is
Tom
that?
Cruise is like 65 or something. I mean, Nicolas Cage is not Tom Cruise, but that's neither here nor there.
That's an assertion. Holy shit.
Bog Noise, are you still here?
Yeah. I
You're
know
right,
that's
though. Even Doom 1 and 2 are very different. I'm a Doom 1 girly. I still believe that Doom 1 is like one of the best shooters ever, and still in a lot of ways has yet to be bested. The breakout first person shooter to me is still one of the best. And that's more than just nostalgia. Like I can lay out reasons why on paper, like the level design in that game is more interesting than the level design in most first person shooters of the past 2 decades. Whatever. Classic
Well,
Doom.
technically
Doom,
Half-Life
Doom
2
is
came
still,
out outside that window.
yeah,
So,
and
okay.
when Half-Life 2 level design is like what even is that compared to Doom? It's like they're like not even the same genre.
No, they're
It's
not.
yeah,
It's
like
not
Half-Life 2 is
labyrinthian.
just about going forward, and it's not. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's a different genre.
all right, guys. I'm peacing out. I might
Bye.
actually try to play a video game before I go to bed. Good night.
What are you going to play? What are you going to play?
Actually, I'm just going to bed.
Yeah,
Coward.
it's like 11 o'clock, dude. This
gonna
motherfucker
go
says he goes to bed at 9.
I'm gonna moonlight some Claire Obscure in bed. That's what I'm gonna do.
Please
Which
make. Where are you in Act 1?
I just told you. I just fought Renoir at the manor in Act 2.
Oh, I thought you were still in Act 1. Okay, so you have
No.
okay.
I finally
All right.
found like a manor door, like manor. Is it the manor? The door, that place you keep going back
Yeah.
to. You find
Yeah,
secret
it's the
doors.
manor.
There's one that I found that had nothing there, and I'm like, it's driving me crazy because any other time I found one of those doors, there's been something there, like a
There is
outfit or
always
something.
something. Can you describe it?
No, I'm telling you, there was one I just did that literally had nothing. There's
Was it
nothing in the room.
Was it a bathroom?
No, I don't think so. No, I
Okay.
did the bathroom, and I think I found something in the bathroom. But this one,
Okay.
I found like nothing.
There's
Use it,
also
I don't
another hidden room in the main mansion itself. I won't tell you where.
Oh man, whatever. I'll get there. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this time, one of these doors I went into had nothing. One of the problems with this game is that, and maybe it's a problem with any JRPG or any big game, or I don't know. The thing is, there have been times as I've played the game where I've like passed on like a mini boss that just seemed like out of my league at the time, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come back to this. But like keeping like that in my head, like there are things that a few of them that I've skipped that I have no idea like where that was or if I'll ever be able to get back there because the areas are so huge. What even area was it in? Like
Yeah.
I wish the game helped you with the tracking of some of this stuff. Like put a little icon on an area that or that tells you you've killed everything in this area or like something. I hate even on the world map you can't even like click on any of the cities or whatever. Like there's not even a legend. It's like it feels very
Yeah, no, there's a
underdeveloped
boss.
some of that stuff.
There's like a mini boss
It makes
somewhere
it hard to go back.
There's a mini boss somewhere in one of the early levels when you only had Gustav and Lune. And for the life of me, I can't find where that mini boss was. I don't even know if I actually eventually came back and fought it. I don't think I did, but I don't know where the fuck it was.
It's a pain. It's a pain to like keep track of that, and so much so that I'm like, when I leave an area and a boss, to me, I've come to the conclusion that like I'm probably never gonna like fight that dude now because they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy to
No.
like find that stuff after the fact.
No.
Unless there's like a guide of like, oh, you probably skipped this boss. Here's where he's at. It can be kind of frustrating.
Where'd you say you were at again?
Somewhere in Act 2. I mean, I've killed a... let's see. The last major thing I did was I killed the boss, the boss with the hair, the singing boss.
Oh, the Axon.
Yeah, the singing Axon. I've
Serene,
killed 2
yeah.
Axons.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have what you need to progress to the big event.
Yeah. But I mean, I do a lot of backtracking. I try to do everything out in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I waste a lot of time backtracking as soon as I get a little bit of freedom, and it feels a little tedious in the game. And I'm sort of realizing maybe I should just do all this shit when like SKA can like fly, maybe, because I don't know. Like I said, the world's so large and the areas are so large, and it's just hard to remember. It's hard to remember things.
Yeah, the way I've had to kind of rely on things that I have not accessed or that I haven't done yet is not even go into those little sub areas, just populate them on the map by going to that location but not entering it. And then just later on, I just open the map and I go to those places and see what's going on. I will say at level 84, I still have areas that are marked as danger. So
interesting.
Yeah, there's some super high fucking areas out there.
I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to sleep. See ya.
Okay. Night, man. All right, chat. I'm going to go to bed too. Y'all have a good night.